Manchester United's abysmal away record against top 9 sides continues. That 2-0 there defeat to Spurs, what's your thoughts on it? Because I thought the players looked disinterested. Look, I'm at a wedding, right? I've taken time out to watch that game. I shouldn't have. I think Casemiro looks lost in this midfield setup. I think this midfield... I know what Ten Hag's trying to do. I know what he wants to do. He wants to have these 2 aggressive number 8s there. In the first half, we need Højlund. We need a striker. We had the chances. That header from Bruno, Anthony hitting the post, but then Spurs hit the post twice. Look, it was an even first half, but we should have scored. And in the second half, Maddison and Bissouma ran that game. There's patterns that have emerged in these first couple of games that are worrying, that are consistent with each other. Casemiro is going to be so isolated in this system. Erik Ten Hag needs a more energetic midfielder to play the system that he wants to play. But what's with the levels? These players don't even look fit. They looked, as I said, a bit disinterested. Spurs absolutely dominated that second half. And this is a Spurs team that's got a new manager. They should be going through the rocky stages of the early Postecoglou games. And they had the run of the game in that second half. Maddison in particular, I knew he was going to be a danger man, and he was a danger man. The first goal, Shaw and Garnacho, left too much space, deflection. Sarr was first to the ball ahead of Casemiro. The second goal, Martinez sticks a leg out. It was scrappy. It was just, United just didn't have the bite or the fight today. It was a 2-0 defeat. It probably could have been more than 2. I'm trying to, you know me, right? I always try and find the positives. I'm not really sure you can get many from that. Again, we've lost against the top 9. So last season against the top 9 teams, I think the only point we got was Spurs away. We've bettered that this year by losing against Spurs. And the game against Wolves was 3 points, right? But it hid. It didn't hit. It glossed over what was a pretty atrocious game, largely from United. And it's midfield. Midfield is the big question mark, and that has to be resolved in these last couple of weeks of the transfer window. Maguire wasn't in the squad today. Illness. Okay. McTominay sat on the bench. There's 2 players there that could and should be sold. Obviously, United rejecting the 60 million bid. Now, I understood why they did it, but we need to get these players out of the club if they're not part of Ten Hag's plans, and he needs... I'm not here saying that Ten Hag needs more tools. Ten Hag has had a lot of tools. He's spent a lot of money and he signed a lot of players. But Casemiro last season, it worked in the system because he had a partner. We weren't that good in midfield, but he had someone alongside him. When you play him in this system and you expect him to cover so much ground, he's going to be isolated. He's going to get the runaround because he's not that energetic sort of midfielder. And that's why Spurs had so much space today. And Spurs were just up for it. As I said, I don't think a massive inquiry has to happen here. I don't think everyone needs to lose their shit, right? That's not what I'm suggesting. But if there were patterns that we saw in the first game against Wolves that were concerning, those concerns have just been compounded by that performance in the second half against Spurs. In the first half, I thought we were putting some good passes together. That pass from Onana to Garnacho, ooh, well, is that the biggest positive I'm going to take from the game? I don't really know what to say. It was Mason Mount. He's not really done anything, I suppose, in these first 2 games. I'm not going to jump on him. But I have to say, I'm concerned. There's not really an area of that pitch where I'm not concerned about. And for Man United to have a full pre-season with Ten Hag, we had 8 games. I'm not sure how many of those 11 actually played together. But the fitness levels are just not there. I'm not going to go back to basics, the fight and the desire and the commitment, X, Y, Z. But Spurs were just a better footballing team in that second half. And United didn't really have an answer. And as I said, the fact that that's happened after the Wolves game, look, Ten Hag stuck with his 11. I think the 11 delivered in the chance creation, but Man United creating chances and not finishing it and getting punished for it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened last season. We need Højlund fit ASAP Rocky, man. I'm not saying that he would have changed everything in that game, but we need a natural finisher on the end of the chances that we are creating. And more than most, we need a midfield that can control a game of football. That's what we still do not have. Casemiro, Bruno, Mount. I know what Ten Hag is trying to do. It's being proactive. It's being aggressive. It's winning the ball high up the pitch. But, hey, man, you need some sort of control in that midfield. And Ten Hag's going to have to tweak. Ten Hag's going to have to change. Maybe until we get another... Amrabat is a more energetic midfielder, would suit that system more because he would be able to cover the space in ways that Casemiro can't. It's not a slight against Casemiro. I suppose it's a semi-slight, but it's about getting players that fit the exact system. And now Casemiro doesn't quite fit in the same way that he fit last season. 2-0 defeat against Spurs. Another abysmal overall performance, really. Man, it wasn't abysmal. The first half we were good. Just the chances weren't there. I'm going to go back to this wedding. I'm going to get drunk. Something's got to give. I don't know what the tweak is. Something has to... Ten Hag, man. You're going to have to manage your situation because everything that we saw and we were worried about against Wolves, that happened in the second half against Spurs. And we lost 2-0. And Maddison and Bissouma ran that midfield. Worrying? Yeah, I think it is worrying. You can let me know what you think in the comments below, but dearie me.